Volume 2, Chapter 28, The Prison Register. The day after that in which the scene we have just described had taken place on the road between Bellegarde and Beaucaire, a man of about 30 or 32, dressed in a bright blue frock coat, nankeen trousers, and a white waistcoat, having the appearance and accent of an Englishman, presented himself before the mayor of Marseilles. "Sir," said he, "I am chief clerk of the house of Thomson French of Rome. We are, and have been these 10 years, connected with the house of Morrel Son of Marseilles. We have 100,000 francs or thereabouts loaned on their securities, and we are a little uneasy at reports that have reached us that the firm is on the brink of ruin. I have come, therefore, express of Rome, to ask you for information." "Sir," replied the mayor, "I know very well during the last 4 or 5 years misfortune has seemed to pursue Monsieur Morel. He has lost 4 or 5 vessels, and suffered by 3 or 4 bankruptcies. But it is not for me, although I am creditor myself to the amount of 10,000 francs, to give any information as to the state of his finances. Ask of me, as mayor, what is my opinion of Monsieur Morel, and I shall say that he is a man honorable to the last degree, and who has up to this time fulfilled every engagement with scrupulous punctuality. This is all I can say, sir. If you wish to learn more, address yourself to Monsieur de Boville, the inspector of prisons, number 15 Rue de Noyer. He has, I believe, 200,000 francs in Morel's hands, and if there be any grounds for apprehension, as this is a greater amount than mine, you will most probably find him better informed than myself." Okie dokie, we have Volume 2. When did that happen? I didn't even know we were, well, I sensed that we were ending a volume, but this is a monumental occasion here. We're entering into a new volume. Here's something interesting. As I've mentioned before, I'm also reading the Robin Buss translation published by Penguin Classics of this story. And in that version of the book, they do away with volumes entirely. So the volumes really only exist here in the original anonymous translation. So I did a little bit of research as to why that is. And it turns out, again, fact check me on all of this, but my brief research told me that the volumes aren't a storytelling device. They are used, or they were used, for 19th century printing. So back in the 1800s, when this was originally collected, when they originally did the anonymous translation, the volumes would have remained intact because this is going to be published not as one tome, one thick doorstop tome, the way the Penguin's Classic is, but rather in 2 or 3 different volumes. Now, remember that 1910 set that I have, that I found at Half Price Books? That is actually broken into 2 volumes, 2 separate books. So I would imagine each publisher, depending on what era they're printing in, are going to be using volumes or separating the story slightly differently. It has nothing to do with creating a cliffhanger or, as I've been kind of alluding to in my own head, my own assumptions is like, okay, we're coming to the end of a volume and we're going to be entering into kind of a new horizon, which now makes a little bit more sense because I feel like we had already passed that point before we hit Volume 2. But now we are here in Volume 2, and it doesn't feel really much different than the last couple of chapters. We have a character going to someone to get information. This time it's an Englishman. Last time it was Dante going to Caderousse to get information about Mercedes, Danglars, Fernand, his dad. Now we have an Englishman going to ask questions about Morel's situation because he has money wrapped up in his endeavors. So it looks like we're going to get a little bit more information about Morel this time, though the title of the chapter is called The Prison Register. So I'm wondering if whoever this Englishman is going to get information about Faria, maybe, or Dante's escape. I'm not sure, but I'm excited to find out, and there's only one way to do that, and that's to continue here tomorrow as we dive into Chapter 28. I'm going to keep this one somewhat short while I wrap my head around what's going on here. So join me here tomorrow, Chapter 28, Count of Monte Cristo. Okay, goodbye. The Countdown of Monte Cristo is part of the Gruntwork Podcast Network. This show is produced, edited, and hosted by Landon Solano. The original text of The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexander Dumas. Theme song by Magic Solo. If you want to support the show and others like it, visit patreon.com/gruntworkpod. Thank you for listening. See you tomorrow.